So here's a fun one in the ongoing things with unemployment. So I went to the Fred and, we just had a report out the other day, and I wanted to look at what they're saying the current numbers are. So um, what we're seeing here on the screen is the initial claims, which is that first week of claiming unemployment, and then plus the continuing claims. So, week 2 through whatever comes under the continuing claims um, of unemployment. And then I divided that by the civilian labor force level, which is basically what I guess it's BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, considers the people who are in the workforce. And that means people who have a job and also people who are looking for a job. So retired people, stay-at-home parents, bums, whatever, are not included in that, but everybody who either has a job or wants a job. So the ratio of those two is like people unemployed and people in the labor force is the unemployment rate. So what we have here is May 2020 is 14%. And just to give you an idea of how that's fared historically, this is, going back to 1967. So we had a high here in the, early 70s oil crisis kind of recession. That was 6%. We had another peak in the early 80s, Vulcan recession, 5%. We had the 08 crash, peaked at 4.5%. So this calculation is actually very conservative because it doesn't include people who are underemployed. It doesn't include people who have given up. This is people who have actively gone through the state process, whatever state they're in, and are actually receiving money for unemployment. So this is just an enormous number. And if we take out the population, just look at the raw numbers, we can see that this number is just millions and millions and millions of people. 22.238 million people, which is a lot. That's a lot of people who are actively on unemployment. Plus however many more are just staying at home and not working. So, the whole V-shaped recovery, I think, is a pipe dream. That doesn't mean the stocks can't have a V-shaped recovery. They've already done that. If we look at, we're looking at the S&P here. Zoom out a little bit. That's a nice V. And it's had some weakness lately, and that seems to be directly related to the assets, to the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. So we can just look at that here. If we zoom in on a 1 year, see how that's kind of rolling over? There are, I was reading up on it, and apparently it's not that they are bringing down the asset purchases, but it's actually the repo window that's not being used as much. So that's causing that decline, which makes some amount of sense because the hedge funds that were using the repo window are have been saved because of this. So now they're no longer underwater, at least not by much. 3390 to 3000, and then if we look at the Qs on the Nasdaq, that's actually well above. So that is, if you're a hedge fund and you were long Apple and Tesla and Microsoft and whatever, then you're doing fine. So they don't need that liquidity anymore from the repo market. I wonder if we can actually see that overnight repurchase agreements, assets. Here we go. So yeah, you can see that's come way down. So it was used a lot in the 08 financial crisis. It was used a lot going back to September of 2019 when it started, and then had a peak crunch, and now it's going back down to possibly these normal levels or zero levels. So yeah, hedge funds have been saved. Hooray! Uh, but meanwhile, 20 something million people unemployed, plus however many are just haven't been able to get through the systems. I have not been looking in the news whether or not people have been complaining about states being backlogged or not. I know Florida, people were saying they're having a giant amount of trouble getting through the system, but whatever it is, then you know it's just craziness. So real economy still in tatters, stock market doing fine, hedge funds doing fine. So depending on which side of the equation you're on there, that might be good news or bad news. So that's where we are for the moment. See you next time.